Okay, I'm back, Biff. Let me know when Johnny Boy's there.
Blue voted Best Wings USA.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But
one.
Compensation. We will work hard to make sure you get the money you deserve for your losses. Don't go it alone. If you're hurt in an accident, call us at 304-242-2900 or visit us at gelnerlaw.com.
We'd like to help.
Do you enjoy sports betting or fantasy sports? If so, know that gambling's not a way to earn your income. BeforeYouBet.org helps keep gambling fun and assesses your risk for problem gambling. Be the fan with a plan this season and take our quiz at BeforeYouBet.org.
If you're on Medicare and have questions about health and drug coverage options, join the Ohio Department of Insurance at a Medicare event near you. Learn about Medicare open enrollment, financial assistance programs, and important deadlines. Everyone on Medicare should review their health and drug plan options. Annual open enrollment runs October 15th through December 7th, and new plan coverage begins January 1st. Visit insurance.ohio.gov or call 1-800-686-1578 to find an event near you.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Get a recap of all the day's news from across the state. The ONN Daily Podcast. Listen at onnradio.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts from the Ohio News Network.
Hello, everyone, from the Watchdog. I'm the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster, with a look at your local weather forecast for your Football Friday. Look for mostly cloudy skies, a cooler day with a high near 57, the overnight low of 31 degrees under mostly cloudy skies, a mostly cloudy Saturday in store with temperatures in the low 40s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
Holy snapping turtle teeth, what's going on here?
It's Friday.
It's Friday?
I'm ready for the weekend.
It's gonna be a banging party.
Yeah, there's a lot of drinking involved.
Are you drunk?
Of course I am. It's a party.
Party, 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 party!
What time is it, you say?
It is time for another show.
It's showtime.
On air, online, on demand, and on video. This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
Sun is out, temperature rising a bit, 46 degrees at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport, 45 here at my home studios in the Elm Grove section of Wheeling, and 45 at the Robinson Auto Group studios downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. Aaron is predicting a high of 58 today, a breezy day, though, today. Could see gusts up to 28 miles an hour. Sunny outside right now and clear, although the clouds will roll in late afternoon and into the early evening. We look for some rain and even a little light dust, not dusting, but a flake or flurry tomorrow morning. Tomorrow's high 42, same for Sunday. So it's going to be, for the next several days, colder than today. 70 yesterday, almost 60 today. Then down to almost 40 for the next several days after that. So that's what you have to look forward to this weekend. Also this weekend, Biff, we have a really busy multi-sports weekend for you here on the Watchdog. We kick off our sports coverage, as always, on Friday with the Bill DeFabio Variety Show right after the TV7 News at noon, about 12:10 or so. Bill will have his Friday Fall Football Friday edition with lots of coaches. You talked to him this morning. He's excited about getting back, right? Excited about talking to coaches this Friday?
Yeah, he's ready to go. He's going to have, and he didn't give me times, but he did give me the coaches. He's going to have Coach Young from Wheeling Central on talking about their matchup against Moorfield. And then in Ohio, he's going to have Coach Halenka from Shadyside and Coach Flannery from River. And I would imagine he'll have probably someone on from Ohio State, maybe talk about the Steelers, and he'll probably have about 6 or 7 different guests.
Be prepared for a full afternoon of football fun with Bill DeFabio's Variety Show from 12:10 until around 3 o'clock. At 3 o'clock, as always on a Friday, it's the during football season at least, it's the Quaker Steak and Lube Friday afternoon walkthrough. The gang will all gather together and talk about things coming up this weekend. Now, interesting, tonight we don't have any high school football or any football tonight, but we got basketball for you this evening.
We do. We have the backyard brawl on the basketball court. Pitt and West Virginia tonight. The pregame is at 7:30 and tip-off probably about 8:30, a little after.
And we heard Tony reminding us during the Mountaineer Report last hour that we haven't, they didn't have a backyard brawl last year. Pitt and WVU did not play in basketball because of COVID. You know, what a mess everything was last year. I would say, you know, Biff, it's hard to think back and realize how thoroughly messed up our seasons were last year, sports seasons.
Oh, I mean, I remember quite well how they were messed up, and again, I don't want to get into that.
We had, and then so tonight it's the backyard brawl. We'll have it for you on the Watchdog. Then tomorrow we do turn our attention to football, both college and high school. WVU taking on Kansas State. The kickoff is at noon. Pregame begins at 8:30 tomorrow. That means, Biff, the Saturday morning sports huddle will be off the boards for tomorrow.
Yes, and it'll also be off for next week as well because West Virginia announced the time for their last home game against Texas, which, oh, by the way, is at noon again, which puts the pregame at 8:30. So no Harris Law Saturday sports huddle the next 2 weeks.
And sticking with college ball for a minute, we'll have Ohio State tomorrow afternoon. Kickoff is, I think, 3:30 with pregame at 2, if I remember correctly. Am I right about that?
Yes, you are correct. That is Purdue and Ohio State.
Then we have a couple of high school games for you tomorrow. We've got the Central game, which is going to be on our high school streaming site. Central is 1 o'clock, 1:30.
Central is 1:30 against Moorfield. And again, that game tomorrow afternoon being played at Wheeling Island Stadium because Wheeling University has their final football game, and it's a home game. So it would be kind of tough to have Central and Moorfield and Wheeling University and whoever they're playing to both be on the same field. So Moorfield and Central at Wheeling Island Stadium.
And that will be on our high school sports stream only. So you go to watchdognetwork.com, and you'll have 3 options right at the front of the page. You can listen to WKKX, WVOY anytime. And when we have high school games that we need to stream, they're on the 3rd option there, which is high school sports stream. So that's where the Central Moorfield game will be because of our commitments to WVU and then to Ohio State. And then tomorrow night, we have Shadyside.
Yes, Shadyside taking on River. That is a rematch of a game played late in the regular season. That game was played at Shadyside. Shadyside won that game 14-12. In Ohio, when you get to the regional semifinals and finals, they try and find neutral sites to play. So River and Shadyside will be played at Martins Ferry's Purple Rider Stadium tomorrow night.
All right, so that's a pretty busy lineup. We got football, we got basketball, we got talk about football and basketball. Whew, we got all kinds of good stuff, and you can catch it all on the Watchdog, WKKX, WVOY, and on our high school sports stream only channel, which you'll find at watchdognetwork.com. Before I get to John, let me just look this up real quick.
While you're looking that up, I'll tell you also Sunday we have the Cleveland Browns at the New England Patriots at 1 o'clock, and the Wheeling Park Patriots, they are in action tonight. They travel to the number 1 seed, Huntington, and they play them at 7:30. So good luck to the Wheeling Park Patriots as well. They're going to have their hands full tonight.
All right. And we'll keep you informed of everything as things happen. I just want to remind you we have a new poll up at our watchdognetwork.com website, watchdognetwork.com, the Watchdog poll. We've done a lot of political stuff lately. We're on Christmas a bit. Have you decorated for Christmas yet? Your options are, yes, my decorations are already up. And some of you people are going to irritate me because you're going to say, yes, I know. No, I wait until after Thanksgiving. Or no, I'll be lucky to get my decorations up by Christmas Eve. Right now, most folks are saying, no, I wait until after Thanksgiving. You can go and vote, watchdognetwork.com, the Watchdog poll. Have you decorated for Christmas yet? 9:18, John McCabe is with us, the newspaper editor here in the Upper Ohio Valley. John, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Howard.
Are your Christmas decorations up yet?
No. You talking? It's not even Thanksgiving yet.
Well, you got a turkey in the window or something? Anything at all?
I think Lowe's actually has Easter decorations out already. So, just saying. So.
Always stay ahead of the seasons. Always
right.
important to stay ahead of the seasons. Got any shopping done yet? Have you done your shopping yet?
My wife may. I think she's got. We've been talking a little bit about it, but personally, no. Been thinking about it, but haven't got any shopping done yet.
I don't know if you heard me tell this story earlier this morning. I was, I had no idea what to get my wife. I just don't know what to get her. And then I saw an ad. I can't say what, but I saw an ad, and I thought, oh, that's kind of interesting. It's different. It's neat. It's personal. So I went online to the website that was promoted in the ad, and I liked it, and I ordered this thing. And it was not inexpensive, but okay, it was not. I bought it. I thought, my wife will like this. This would be nice. It's a personalized copy. Yes, I like this. And placed the order. And then afterwards, I did something I usually do first. I thought, well, let me go to Amazon and see if they have the same thing, just out of curiosity. And they did, for 1/7 the price. I paid 7 times the Amazon price.
Well, how much
for the same thing?
I mean, I heard your conversation yesterday and how much cash you're rolling in retirement. So how much was this? Like, is this like a $700 item and you could have got it for $100 on Amazon? I'm sure you're not buying $10 gifts anymore.
I got a text about that today too. It wasn't my point. I'm not rolling in money.
It sounds like you and Nancy are living. I mean, you're taking these luxury vacations, eating, Rocky Mountain oysters right off the shell.
John, this is retirement. In retirement, you do these things. But I got some texts again today. When Matt Robas and I were talking, Matt was saying we should decrease Social Security for people who don't necessarily need it. And I'm not sure how you means test that. But my point was that it is, I get the argument that maybe Social Security isn't as necessary to keep older folks out of poverty as it was when it was first started. So I don't know.
But how do you, that's the key, is how do you means test it, and how do you tell people, people like you and those older who were, who took this was a promise from the government that, you put this money, and we take this money from your paycheck each week, and you will have a steady, source of income in retirement. So how do you go back? I mean, I know how you go back on it. You just go back and you change it, but it's, that's always a tough one. That's, Social Security is a tough one to tackle.
When do you, absolutely, and when do you make that change?
Mm-hmm.
You're right. The last thing in the world, I don't want someone coming taking my Social Security away, or anybody who has it. So you don't do that. So how far, what point do you make this change? It's not an easy thing, but if Matt's numbers are right, only 18% of the elderly is in poverty compared to 35% of youth or something of those nature. I don't write it in the newspaper, but I think those numbers he was using.
It's funny. Whenever my dad's dad, who grew up extremely, poor in Boston and worked very hard his whole life and was able to amass some wealth, and I remember, of course, I was young, and he was, he waited until the last possible moment to start collecting Social Security, when you had to take it, when they basically foisted it on you. And at that time, he got the maximum, whatever the maximum benefit was, 40 years ago, 30 years ago. And it was, we'll say it was $2,000 a month, we'll just say for sake of argument. And I remember my dad and he having arguments about it because he would be, my dad would say, this is, you should be ashamed to take this much money because you don't even cash your checks. You just let them sit here for 2 and 3 months at a time before you even put them in the bank. That's my money. I worked for that money. The government told me they were going to give me that money. That was the promise they made. I mean, I distinctly remember sitting in his living room and hearing those conversations because that was how it was sold to the public. Right. And that's how still to this day for many of us. Now, I guess if you're, under 20 or maybe under 25, I don't know if you have that promise because it's not, number one, it's not talked about as much. And it's maybe not, it's just not as big of an impact. And I think for even, and I know when I was growing up, it was always, save your money. Don't rely on Social Security. You need to invest. You need to start a 401k. You need to, a IRA, whatever it might be, to prepare for your future. But as it, that still is out there. I get my statements and see how much I'm supposed to be getting when I retire, and I plan on using that money. It's my money,
It's my money.
My money.
I thought Matt made an interesting analogy. Now, this is not the way Social Security works or was sold to us, don't get me wrong. But it is an interesting concept. He said, you pay into, you buy insurance all your life for fire insurance, let's say, all right? And if your house burns down, you collect and you build a new house. If your house doesn't burn down, they don't give you your money back. You pay into it, but you don't necessarily get it back. Now, that's not the way Social Security is set up.
It's not.
But it's interesting. It's an interesting concept, though.
Yeah.
That, yes, you pay into it, and if you need it, it comes your way. I said yesterday, and again, I don't want people to think but my Social Security, my wife and I have planned well, and have retirement, options. Nancy, not radio, has no such thing as a retirement plan, but Nancy had a good retirement plan. So, we're okay. And Social Security is helpful, but isn't necessarily necessary. On the other hand, I have a member of the family, close member of the family, who would not eat without Social Security.
Right.
So how do you balance those two?
And that's always the, that's again, always the challenge. I had on and I think what's interesting is when you have life experiences that kind of show you that delicate balance between one and the other. Again, my dad's dad didn't need it at all. But my mom's mom, and she lived off of my grandfather's black lung check, which was next to nothing. That's all she had. She never worked. She didn't get Social Security. So she lived off of a check that at that time wasn't a political football. It became one later on whether or not we were going to continue to extend black lung benefits. But, and I can remember, for her, scraping money together to walk over the hills, walk over the hill to go down the hills in Star City was a big deal, and so it's interesting, and I guess the whole moral here is at some point from, the 1960s probably through the 90s when everybody really started to realize that Social Security as we have it set up now was not a sustainable model, no matter how many times Al Gore could say the lock box. Once they realized that somebody needed to have the political will to make a change, but again, how do you do that? Because it's just like everything else that our government does is once you get a program in, it very rarely ever goes away.
And let's be brutally honest about it. The reality is, as a general comment, the elderly vote, the young don't.
Exactly.
More of us, more of my generation, make a point of going to the polls and making sure that our elected officials know what we want because we're going to vote. An awful lot of, unless there's something that motivates them, like a Barack Obama candidacy or something, young people tend to not vote. And that's been true historically, and I think it still is true today. So the elderly have greater political clout, I think.
Yes, undoubtedly.
Anyways, to your point, no, it was not a $700 item that I bought for my wife. It's just that what I bought directly from the company was 7 times what I could buy it for on Amazon, which was absolutely amazing to me. And
it really is.
The company, it was just, and I was kicking myself because I even usually lecture my wife that when she's buying something from a third party, I say, well, before you buy it from, Joe's Catalog Bargain, go see if Amazon's got it. I tend to trust Amazon. I know all the complaints about Amazon, but I tend to trust Amazon. They've got a good policy on returns and, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I always say to her, well, look, before you buy, just go check and see, because sometimes it's the same thing as on Amazon, then decide if you want it that way. I didn't do it until after the fact. Man, was I kicking myself. Gee, Christmas.
Did you try to go back and cancel the first one?
Yeah, there is no cancel button. Absolutely. Again, with Amazon, there is. You get an order, and it says if you want to cancel this, do this. I checked the email they sent me. I went to the website. I looked at. No, it's this is your order. There you go, buddy boy. that's
yeah, I mean, heck, Amazon nowadays, you order it and they send it to your house, and you realize you don't need it, don't want it, doesn't work. You don't even have to pay to send it back anymore. You just drop it off at the
Correct.
UPS store, and they take care of it all for you. I mean, it's made it so convenient. And I did hear you earlier talking about Deluxe Toy and Novelty, and somebody doing a little name dropping for you over there, and them sending you a nice note. But it really is difficult for these for some of these stores, because again, Amazon's prices. Not always. You have to be careful, but generally speaking, the sellers are selling cheaper than you can many times buy in a store, and just the convenience of having it dropped off at your door a day or two later is just amazing.
It's the convenience that's a big deal for me. Sometimes Amazon's a little. No, this deal last night was just I can't figure out how the price is so dramatically different. Sometimes Amazon's a little bit more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you save some money. The price differential isn't dramatic usually, but it's the convenience. I mean, I because of my weird schedule, I sit at home at 11:30 at night, and I do shopping, and I order something, and I know it'll be here in a couple of days. Well, supply chain issues notwithstanding, so it's convenient. I know all the arguments against Amazon. And I do think that somehow they ought to be paying more taxes. I don't quarrel that they should be paid, but it's convenient, and it's just as simple as that. And I think everything so far. Now I have a couple of things I want to go out and purchase. I know what I want to buy. A couple of truly local items that I have in mind for my wife. But I think everything I've gotten off of Amazon. But the good news for me, at least, is I think we've got almost all of our shopping done.
Good.
Which is good. Yeah, which is good. All right, we've talked through the entire first segment. John, when we come back after a news break, I want to say, what do you know? Do you know anything about this car that was found with the couple that have been missing since, 2018? I've had a hard time following that story.
Just really what's been reported. It's interesting, but we'd be interesting to talk about.
We'll talk about that and more coming up. The Ohio Valley News Week in Review on the Friday Roundtable. Newspaper editor John McCabe and I are here. Biff's behind the board. I trust you know who you are. And these folks are Metro News.
The Metro News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
To file his own response to the allegations.
Read more from Brad at WVMetroNews.com. High winds whipping a couple of forest fires overnight in northern West Virginia. Crews battling the flames near the Harrison-Lewis County line. The fire apparently started with a house fire which jumped into the woods. The home was destroyed. A separate brush fire was also reported in Marion County. You're listening to Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. A member of the Young Thundering Herd will be the featured speaker during the 51st Annual Memorial Fountain Ceremony at Marshall University on Sunday. Mark Miller will share how the 1970 Marshall plane crash impacted his life. Here's Marshall President Jerome Gilbert.
We gather every year at the Memorial Fountain to pay tribute to the 75 that passed away on that day and to commit to their memory.
Sunday's ceremony starts at 2 o'clock. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Carrie Hudasek.
At home, the Penguins defeated the Florida Panthers 3-2 in a shootout, scoring the game-winning goal, Jeff Carter. Let's hear from Coach Todd Reardon.
That's just been a great acquisition for us, and someone I've coached against for a while, and always, obviously the success he's had winning cups and being a part of Olympic teams.
How about this shocker on Thursday Night Football in the NFL? Miami upset Baltimore 22-10. This is Ravens head coach John Harbaugh.
The way we need to be prepared, our schemes weren't up to snuff, and we weren't prepared to execute the way we needed to. So,
Ravens dropped to 6-3. A good night for Baltimore quarterback Lamar Jackson.
The Dolphins had their little play. They had their great players on offense, but I feel like our defense played lights out, man. We just wasn't getting it done on offense, so that's why I was mad. If you was on offense, you would be mad too, but played a great game, man.
Odell Beckham Jr., he has a new team. He is now a member of the Los Angeles Rams. This is L.A. quarterback Matthew Stafford.
It's an opportunity for us as a team. It's an opportunity for him, to come in here and prove himself to us, like what our room is about in the receiver room is pretty special. I know he'll fit right in and, just continue to get better and hopefully it'll help us as a team.
And Cam Newton, he's back in the NFL. He had signed a one-year deal with the Carolina Panthers. Steelers host Detroit Sunday at Heinz Field. By the Steelers, they'll be tied with the Ravens for the top spot in the AFC North. Who would have ever thought when the Steelers started the season with a few losses? Thursday night at Heinz Field, the Pitt Panthers, ranked at number 20 and 21, beat the North Carolina Tar Heels in overtime 30-23. This is Pitt quarterback Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, something we've been practicing for a really long time. It feels great when after you put a lot of work in like that, and I've probably done that to him 100 times, not even exaggerating. So to have it in a moment like that, that's why you work hard, that's why you put the hours in.
By the way, Pitt has thrown 32 TD passes this year. Panthers improved to 8-2. I'm Bill DeFabio on sports, and we are the Watchdog.
Hi, it's Howard Monroe. When you join Brad Leonard and me weekday mornings from 7:10 for the Watchdog Morning Show, we'll have all the top stories of the day. We'll go behind the scenes with some informative guests giving you some interesting information. And, of course, some off-the-wall, off-the-beaten-path kind of issues and stories that you may not hear in the top headlines. Plus, your news, your sports, your weather. Zach Petty, Bill DeFabio, Tony Caridi. We're just your morning breakfast club, getting together and chewing the fat. Hope you'll join us weekday, 7 to 10. The Watchdog Morning Show right here.
Toyota's full lineup of four-wheel and all-wheel drive vehicles combine our legendary reliability with the safety and handling necessary to take on any terrain, element, or adventure that comes your way. And with 12 available models, including Camry, Venza, and the all-new Corolla Cross, there's a style for everyone. Visit buyatoyota.com for the latest offers and to find a dealer near you. Toyota, your four-wheel and all-wheel drive specialists. Let's go places.
Are you traveling? Working a little bit too much? Is your fur baby starting to get a little shaggy? Let Dirty Paws be your one-stop shop for all of your pet care needs. Stop in and see us at 202 18th Street or give us a call at 304-639-7754 to schedule your appointments for dog grooming, doggy daycare, and dog boarding today.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the Watchdog trusts.
Hi, it's Tony Caridi, host of the CityNet Statewide Sports Line right here on Metro News. Join the Senator, Brad Howe, Coach Greg Hunter, and myself as we discuss the day's biggest sports stories, talking with coaches, former players, and sports writers from all over the state and across the nation, bringing you the latest from the high schools, colleges, and the pro game. So don't miss the CityNet statewide sports line weeknights at 6:06 here on the Metro News Radio Network and streaming live at WVMetronews.com.
Keep up with the ever-changing world of sports all night long. Sports Map Radio is on the Watchdog, FM 98.1, AM 1600.
Here's a look at the Ohio Valley local news week in review with newspaper editor John McCabe and Howard Monroe.
9:37, 23 to the hour here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Story that's been headline news for a couple of days now. A couple who disappeared a couple of years ago, last seen in St. Clairsville at, I think, a pizza place. Their car found under the water in a river up in the Jefferson County area by a dive team. John, the story is, I'm having a hard time putting the puzzle pieces together. Are you?
I am, because, I think what's interesting and maybe has made this even more confusing is some of the law enforcement officials, or I guess the direct law enforcement officials, are saying, we don't know what happened yet. We don't know if this was foul play. We don't know if this was a suicide, a mechanical issue, a terrible accident, tragic accident. And others, and I think one of them being one of the prosecutors involved, is saying, well, we believe this could be a double murder, without any real indication as to why they believe that. I guess maybe it makes for good sound bites. But, they short of when they pulled the vehicle out, and if they found, holes in someone's head or something, it's it's easy to say, well, this could be do the investigation, find out, don't cause people to speculate and assume something that may not be true, because, again, the two sheriffs involved have been very guarded and measured in saying, we're not sure what happened yet. That's why we'll do an investigation.
Yeah, I think Sheriff Abdallah said yesterday that the cause of death undetermined. They are looking, a coroner's going to look at it, and medical examiners and all that kind of stuff, but I guess the statement, it could be a double murder, is probably factually correct. It also could be aliens.
Exactly. It could be.
We just don't.
You know what's interesting too, Howard, and so the car was found in the Ohio River, right?
Yes.
Yep. So who owns the Ohio River? It's not Jefferson County or Belmont County or the state of Ohio. Well, an interesting, no West Virginia sheriffs or officials were involved, because technically speaking, the crime scene, at least where they found it, if it is a crime scene, was in West Virginia. Am I not correct there?
That's a good point. How far off the shore do they find it?
Well,
I don't have any.
The West Virginia state line starts at the water. So if it's in the water, my understanding is it's in West Virginia. So, so it's just interesting, and I don't know if they're going to, maybe just work in tandem, and West Virginia will be kind of there in an advisory role, since, everything that led into that happening took place in Ohio, whether that was them driving into the river due to a mechanical accident or mechanical issue or something else. But just, kind of fascinating in a way, too, because this story has been, on and off for, about 3+ years now of, where did
right?
Yeah, where did these two folks go after they left the Pizza Hut? And, I found it really interesting that, they had searched this area specifically before, but then they brought this dive team in out of Illinois, and they were able to use sonar to detect the car down, basically buried in mud at the bottom of the river, and pull it out. So it's just really kind of fascinating. This dive team was here actually looking for someone else who had gone missing sometime back in Hancock County. So it just kind of an interesting turn of events there that they were able to pull the car out of the river with, rather intact, it looks like. But it'd be interesting to see where this one goes and what ends up being the cause.
I think I saw a tweet a couple of days ago, and unfortunately, it's something I just scrolled past. And so I don't know who it was from. I can't remember, and it's a strange coincidence. But I saw a tweet, and it was a picture of this couple, the picture that has been shown in the media. I'm pretty sure it was them. And it said they've been missing long enough, it's about time to end this, or something like that. And I just assumed it was, family members or somebody, as they tend to do every once in a while, just bring it. But I thought it was strange. I didn't pay attention to it, other than to take note in my head that there was somebody saying that. Then a couple of days later, they found it. So hopefully we'll get more information about this in the near future. It has the potential to be a really, really interesting story. And by interesting, I mean, could it be a double homicide, or is there something more to this? Or it could be just a tragic accident. And, at this moment, we're just not sure.
Yeah, and then, but I think the good thing as well, at least from the standpoint of and family members of the two missing folks, at least now have some initial closure in knowing that they've been found.
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly. John, it was really interesting this week, and I have been saying this is a Democrat. Democrats have been eating their own a lot in the last couple of years. Progressives against the centrist, Manchin against the, and so on. But boy, this week it was Republicans against Republicans, at least in the House, when 13 Republicans, including Dave McKinley, voted for the bipartisan infrastructure bill, a bill that they're said to bring, $6 billion to West Virginia, for example. McKinley says, hey, listen, it's good for my state. It makes sense. It's not a lot of that, in his words, silly social spending that's in the Build Back Better bill. This is hard infrastructure, and I voted for it. Alex Mooney, on the other hand, who will meet McKinley in the primary next year, voted against it and really is criticizing McKinley, and a lot of other Republicans criticizing these 13 folks, including McKinley as well.
So Alex Mooney, he found tax increases in there. No one's quite sure where those are at, but that's why he voted against it. And Carol Miller, who's from the Southern District, the 3rd District, this is a socialist spending bill. So all the other, the major interstate highway system, everything else we've done through these major infrastructure packages are now socialist spending. I think it really does, to me, as I've watched this unfold and talked to folks over the past week, it really does kind of cut right to the heart of where this country's at. So here's the scenario I look at. If Donald Trump was president right now, if he'd gotten reelected and this bill came up, every single Republican that voted against it in the House would have voted for it. You know that as well as I do. Every single one of them. But since it's a Democrat in the House, or a Democrat in the White House, and a Democrat House, and essentially a tied but Democrat Senate, we can't give them a win. So it really does come down to me is, what's the goal, or what is the responsibility of a member of Congress? Is it to constituent, or is it to party? And apparently right now it's to party for many of them. It's not to their constituents. It's not to the people who elect them. It's to their party. We've seen that play out, with a little bit with Liz Cheney, but I think this takes it to even a different level because again, Donald Trump proposed a $2 trillion infrastructure package that they just never got around to voting on. But as well as I do, Alex Mooney, Carol Miller, every other House Republican would have voted for it if he was in office right now. Just the level of hypocrisy is amazing.
Trump himself doesn't even hide it. Trump, his statement simply, it wasn't it's a bad, and Mooney at least says it's a bad bill, there's bad things in there. Trump says, why did you vote for that? You let the Democrats have a win. I mean, Trump just called it pure politics, period. That's the only reason you should vote against it, is because if you didn't, then the Democrats get a win. And that's where we are in our society these days. And, I thought, Dave McKinley, I don't know if you heard him on Hoppy Show this week or not.
I did.
He was really forceful in his response. He didn't say it this way, but it's kind of like, tell them, if they want to criticize me, tell them. This is the right thing to do. Here's the reasons why. I'm not playing politics with this. I'm doing the right thing. And I really give Dave McKinley a lot of credit, not just for voting for it, but for aggressively standing behind his vote.
Well, did you hear Alex Mooney yesterday?
I did, yes.
Yeah, so I thought, to me, the best line of the week has been, I don't know how those roads are in Maryland, nice reference from Congressman McKinley to Alex Mooney's, moving here from Maryland.
Right.
But then yesterday, I guess it was yesterday, Mooney was on. You know what he sounded like? He sounded like the 12-year-old boy down the street who, feels like he just got picked on and he's whining. He started it, Hoppy. Well, he started it with that comment. That was totally uncalled for, but he started it, so it's on now. I heard that and I thought, have some respect for yourself. Can you not act like an adult instead of acting like a petulant child on a statewide radio show, whining about the fact that this guy pointed out that, that you have a race against him. And, yes, it's on, and it's been on since you both declared that you were going to run. And, but yeah, just don't sound like a child, and that's exactly what he sounded like. This is going to be an interesting race, and I think it just ratcheted to a different level over this past week. And now really, I think Mooney has a lot of cash. I mean, he's got, I think, 3 to 4 times the amount of money in his campaign account that Dave McKinley does. This vote, which was done because that's what the party told him to do and to placate the former president. So now does he leverage that and try to bring Trump to the district to campaign for him? I think there's a lot of things hanging out there.
That primary is going to be really interesting to me. I mean, extreme. I felt it all along, but I think this vote may well be a central part of the primary fight between the two of them. And again, McKinley standing up, bringing money to the state, bucking the party in this particular case, but still a moderate to conservative Republican against Mooney, who voted against bringing money to the state, but stands in the shadow of Trump. I mean, honestly, I don't know how that plays out in a Republican primary.
I don't either. I mean, and if you look at this, this bill was obviously not only supported by McKinley, it was largely written and authored by Shelley Moore Capito, strongly advocated and voted for by Joe Manchin. So you've got what you would call the 3 longer-serving senior members of our congressional delegation in favor of this bill. And then you have, Carol Miller, who's newer, so I think second term, and then you've got Alex Mooney, who's been in, for 6 or 8 years now, maybe a little longer, but just coming in and saying, we don't like this for West Virginia because it's not what it's not because it's not good for West Virginia, but it's because basically we were told not to vote that way, and I find that to be so hypocritical. They're not serving their constituents at all.
John, I'll be curious though when the time comes to do a ribbon cutting or a groundbreaking for a road project funded by this money, or when the broadband projects are moving forward that are going to be to a large extent funded by this money, I'll be curious whether Mooney or Miller will stand up and proudly be there when the checks come in.
Do you think they will? Let me ask
a lot.
Yeah. Do you think they'll show up?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so do I. I would be more shocked if they didn't. Because you can always make the argument in their shoes of, well, this was terrible, but hey, it's done, and I'm here to celebrate with my residents the opening of this new road or whatever it might be. But you're right, they will most likely be there with their hands out front and center, waiting for the cameras and the television cameras to get them on film, holding up a big check or a big pair of scissors or whatever it might be.
Well, as I said, this is going to be a really interesting primary, and I just honestly don't know. I don't know how it's going to play out. I mean, we talked a couple of weeks ago about sort of the general lay of the land. McKinley has much more of the new second district encompasses more of his current district than Mooney, so McKinley's got kind of a geographical advantage over Mooney.
Right.
Mooney has a lot more money, but I think this may be a defining issue, and I don't know. Will people say, okay, he's a Republican, so we're a Republican state, so it's a Republican primary. Well, they go, okay, he's a Republican, he's been pretty good most of the time, and he voted to bring money to us, so I'm okay with McKinley. Or do they stand with Mooney, who says, no, we say no when it comes time to vote for Democratic policies.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be. I don't even get the argument against the bipartisan infrastructure bill. You know, I understand completely where the fight is over the Build Back Better bill, the so-called social spending bill. I get the arguments there. In general, I'm in favor of it, but I understand where people have disagreement with that. I understand the legitimate debate over that bill. I don't understand it on this one. I just don't get it.
Well, you know, you had the U.S. Chamber of Commerce come out and spell the bill out, you know, not dollar by dollar, but basically, you know, and say this is 100, you know, nothing's 100% of anything. There's always things in there. But, you know, this is 90 plus, 95+% pure infrastructure spending. This is bridges, you know, broadband, roads, the things, you know, we know, I mean, again, and one of Congressman McKinley's biggest arguments in voting for it is West Virginia is dead last in its infrastructure right now. In the shape of it, I mean, we know we're spending $14 million on I-70 right now. You know, that's a small stretch of interstate through our area that's taking up, you know, 1/5 of $1 billion to do. So, you know, that is just one small piece of what really needs done around West Virginia. You know, we drive the roads in this state, and you know how bad they are and how bad our bridges are. And, you know, we're always at the top of the list of deficient bridges when those come out. And why we would not want to fix that. Why would, you know, you go to the Eastern Panhandle, the road system over there is improving, but it's, you know, it's just so congested because of the growth. Why you would not want new projects coming on the books to help ease that congestion? That's what I'm just having a hard time getting past. One, and two, the bigger point is that this was simply a vote not against the bill, but it was a vote with the party for every, you know, I'm going to say every Republican, but I know our two Republicans here were voted against it because that's what they were instructed to do.
It was a bipartisan infrastructure bill, though. It was bipartisan.
Yeah.
And real quick, I'm looking at some breakdown here. $100 million for broadband in West Virginia, which is one of our greatest needs altogether. John, I got to run. Good talking to you. We'll talk to you again next week.
See you, Howard.
Thanks a lot. Let's swing over to the Big Seven. WTRF TV. Bob Westfall is here with us this morning. Bob, I don't know what you've got on the agenda, but I know there was a fire this morning over in Bridgeport. Is that right?
Yes, there was. Small fire, shut down 250 for a little bit. Still waiting on some more details on that one, but we did have somebody over there real quick this morning. So fire, shut down 250. Not sure of injuries yet, but it's something we're following up on right now. So yeah, not a good good way to start off your Friday.
All right. What else are you working on today?
All right, a couple things we're following up on the story we had yesterday. Brian Goff and Joni Davis, the vehicle and both of the individuals were found in the Ohio River after 3.5 years missing. They now have they've now found the couple. So we're following up on that today with DK has that story. She was there all day yesterday. Not the outcome that a lot of individuals were hoping for. So we're going to follow up on that story today.
But I'm still having a hard time putting the puzzle pieces together based on the information we got yesterday from the press conference and so on. I'm still really unclear as to what actually has happened, and I guess we'll have to wait until they have medical examiner reports and so on. But I can't put these puzzle pieces together just yet. It's a strange story.
Well, yeah, the way Sheriff Abdullah talked, they're also going to look at the car, make sure there was nothing mechanical or anything wrong with the vehicle as they drove it, in addition to the forensics and things like that. So it could take a while. I know, I'm not sure if it was Dave Lucas or Fred Abdullah who said that they have one other case that's taken 6 months. To get stuff back for the coroner. And as you know, the state of West Virginia is even worse when it takes to send stuff to the coroner. So I think I hate to use the word, we're just going to have to wait and see what they have, what they come from the investigation, both in the vehicle itself and look at the autopsy of the two bodies. So I think you and a lot of us have a lot of questions as to that situation. But yeah, like I said, it's the end of a 3.5 year story. Missing couple found, sadly, in the Ohio River. We're going to follow up with a few things today. So DK is actually working on that as we speak. So that's the story, big story today. So sadly, that's where we're moving on to.
Anything else you want to tell us about real quick?
Real quick, drug bust in Steubenville, 2 arrested. Steubenville PD is telling me it's a significant seizure of cocaine. Jason Drake's 47 and a Melissa Bell 51, both busted for felonies for allegedly a huge cocaine house. So we'll have more on that later today. And then, of course, high school football, first round of playoffs.
Yeah, Bob, we've got Wheeling Park tonight at Huntington.
Yep.
And then both Cameron and Wheeling Central. Cameron has Gilmer County, and Wheeling Central plays Moorfield at the stadium tomorrow afternoon.
Right, and we will, I know you guys will be there, and then we'll have highlights tonight and tomorrow. So let's go football.
And then over in Ohio.
Right, we'll check you out at noon, 5, 6, 10, 11, 5:30 statewide show at WTRF.com, the award-winning website. And, of course, using the News app or the Storm Tracker 7 app, you can take TV7 with you in your pocket. Bob, I got to run. Good talking to you, my friend. We'll do it again next week.
All right, man. Talk to you on Monday.
All right. Speaking of Monday, Biffy, I decided to let Matt Robeson come back, even though I almost, called him out and canceled his appearances. But he and I fought a bit yesterday. But we're going to talk about this whole business of the Republican infighting going on now with McKinley and others and so on. That's going to be part of the show on Monday. And a children's book author who's got a different kind of multimedia children's book coming out. We'll talk with him next week as well. In the meantime, I got to go. I got to get out of here. Kirchhoff's got the comm coming up next. I'll be back Monday morning, 7 o'clock, another go-around of the big gig. Are you back with me, Biff?
Back Monday, ready to start another week.
All right, we're going to keep on doing it until we get it right.
That could be a long time.
Indeed.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
From a...
Well, there was our 9 o'clock disconnect. Jeez. Yeah, it was only for a second or two. It reconnect. Usually I can't reconnect. I mean, it automatically reconnected. I usually have to hang up and yeah, jeez. Anyways, wish I knew what was causing that problem, but we'll see. All right, everything going okay? I always ask that question. No problems as far as you know? Yeah, okay. All right. You're in. No, are you in tonight? No, you're not in tonight then, right? Yeah. So you get a Friday off. Right. Okay, that's good. Well, you get a Friday night off. Any big plans? Okay. What are you working on Saturday? Yeah, both. Oh, that's right. They're a different time. Yeah. Okay. All right. It'd be nice if everybody knew how to do everything, I guess. But that's just my thought. All right. Well, have a good weekend. If you need me for anything, I think I should be around. Have no special plans. Teddy's still sick, so he's down at his house, so I don't think he'll be here again today. Yeah, like yesterday, I told you Nancy was out and Teddy wasn't here, and I ate breakfast and did some extra work, got my podcast done. First time I caught up on that in a long time. And then I took a nap. That was pretty much it. That was my day. Nothing else to do, so. Oh, did you really? Oh, I should have asked you about that. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good. That's good. Maybe your last one. Might get it in. Might do it again. Yeah. Yeah. You know, you could probably find some complaining going on. We're off to golf now. Yeah, probably not. Probably not. Although you could pack some turkey sandwiches with you. Yeah. No. We'll just take some turkey sandwiches and we're going to go golf. There you go. That's not a bad way to spend a Thursday, Biff, but I think the family would get distressed. Yeah. All right. All right. I said, have a good weekend. If you need me for anything, I should be around all weekend. Don't know what it would be, but if you do, I'm here. Otherwise, I'll talk to you on Monday. All right. As always, thanks for your help. I really appreciate it. All right, bye.
Regional stability.
Migrants on the border want to cross over into Poland and then move further on to places like Germany.
That's ABC's Tom Rivers. This is ABC News.
Did you know that United Healthcare helps connect you to doctors and therapists with 24/7 access to virtual care?
So I could have therapy from my couch?
Yep.
Or a doctor appointment from my car?
If you wanted to.
Wait, you're right. I don't even like when people see me sing in the car. Couch appointment it is. Virtual visits are just one of the ways United Healthcare helps connect you to better health. Learn more at uhc.com. Plan benefits may vary.
Brian Clark, ABC News.
Hi, it's Howard Monroe. When you join Brad Leonard and me weekday mornings from 7:10 for the Watchdog Morning Show, we'll have all the top stories of the day. We'll go behind the scenes with some informative guests giving you some interesting information. And, of course, some off-the-wall, off-the-beaten-path kind of issues and stories that you may not hear in the top headlines. Plus, your news, your sports, your weather, Zach Petty, Bill DeFabio, Tony Caridi. We're just your morning breakfast club, getting together and chewing the fat. Hope you'll join us weekday, 7 to 10, the Watchdog Morning Show right here.
Hello, everyone, from the Watchdog. I'm the storm tracker, Darnell Foster, with a look at your local weather forecast for your football Friday. Look for mostly cloudy skies, a cooler day with a high near 57, the overnight low of 31 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. A mostly cloudy Saturday in store with temperatures in the low 40s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
Good morning. Welcome to Talkline on the Metro News Radio Network.
Do not attempt to change the station. You are surrounded. We interrupt this program to bring you an emergency news bulletin. Repeat, this is an emergency bulletin. Keep your radio turned on.
Holy smoke. From the studios of the West Virginia Radio Corporation and the Metro News Radio Network, the voice of West Virginia, comes the most powerful radio show in West Virginia. This is Metro News Talk Live with Hoppy Kercheval.
Check set lineup link. Activated Telos telephone. Switch network control from Charleston to Morgantown.
Stand by. Q Hoppy. You're on.
Metro News Talk Line with Hoppy Kercheval is brought to you by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
And we're broadcasting from the Encova Insurance Studios. Our producer is Luke Wiggs. Taylor Kennedy with the video stream. You can watch at WVMetroNews.com. The phone number is 1-800-765-8255. Text me, 304-TALK 304. Email me, talkline at WVMetroNews.com. Steam release at 11:33 today. But first up, at the risk of belaboring a point, which I've been known to do from time to time, I want to try to further explain or help understand or help you understand where we are on booster shots. The policy, I'm going to put air quotes around it, the policy, the recommendation from the CDC is that individuals who receive either the Pfizer or the Moderna are eligible for a booster shot if it's been at least 6 months since they completed their initial series of shots, and they fall into one of the following groups: 65 years and older, age 18 who live in long-term care facilities, age 18 who have underlying medical conditions, age 18 who work or live in high-risk individuals. For Johnson & Johnson, booster shots are recommended for those who are 18 and older who were vaccinated 2 or more months ago. However, we know that